it's time to get a little personal. So I know that leaving YouTube for even like 3 weeks can basically be a social suicide for your channel and everything, and I really don't have that many subscribers as it is, and those who do don't really watch my channel, so I just don't know. But the reason why I have been gone for those users who have been watching me is because 2016 was a really rough time. Everyone I know who went through 2016 went through a really rough time, so I'm not saying that I'm the only one. I'm just here to describe and tell you why I kind of went through a rough time 2016 and why my videos were kind of like meh, and I was trying to get some up and then I just stopped for a while. Well, in the beginning, in February, my father was fired, and he didn't want to get back into a regular business type of thing where he goes off and get money from working for other companies. He wanted to start his own business, which was an auction business, something that he's wanting to do for a while. And then about a month later, my husband got demoted. The reason why this happened was the company, I cannot really, for those who know me, I can't really say it, that store had a favoritism issue. The store manager was fired because the district manager didn't like her, and then my father was fired because he was really close to the store manager, and then my husband, who worked underneath them, was demoted a month afterwards because the co-managers that worked above him didn't like him so much because, well, he told it as it is. He said, "No, that's not my job. You do your job, I'm not doing your job, I'm doing my job, and I still gotta work on my job." He just had issues. So he was demoted, and around the time that he was demoted, our car broke down, so we had to buy another car. And it was great. We love our car. We still have it now. It's a Pontiac G6 2009. We were told that it had all new tires, so I was really excited about it. And then a month after getting that car, being $5,000 into getting it, that's fairly cheap, but for a person who just got demoted, it was a lot of money for us. Well, we learned that the tires weren't new, they were old, and every single one of them had nails in them and were plugged. So I had to buy all new tires in like a 2 to 3 month period because I couldn't afford it within all at once. And then after that, the battery died. So the battery was completely gone. I had to get a new battery, which that is expensive, and then the transmission cord, I think it was the transmission cord, one of the cords, that was bad. I had to get a new one of those, and then the exhaustion pipe broke, and I had to get a new one of actually didn't get a new one. I had to get it welded into it in metal or replaced on top of it because I could not afford, I think it was $800 to $1,000, I think, of the exhaustion pipe. And by then, I already had spent all of our savings on fixing the other parts of the car. So, we had lost a lot of money financially. And around that time, my parents were getting low and low in their financial issues because my dad still hadn't got his business running. And every time they were getting their, like, a building for the business, the building had issues and they had to go on to another building, and Florida is very picky about their real estate because of that. So I had to start paying rent, which before I wasn't, I was blessed with that. I'm 25 years old, and for a long time I never had to pay rent. But it was just really sad because around the time that we were having our most financial issues in our relationship and in my life, I had to start paying rent, which was $350 out of our paycheck for a month, which isn't a lot, but at that time we needed a lot of that money to pay for the things that we were paying for. I had gotten, after all of that and paying $350 after June, I believe, I got food poisoning from salmonella. I got bronchitis for 3 months. Zach was getting sick, and then we learned we were getting kicked out of our house. And I actually did mention that in a couple of my older videos at the end of last year, that we were being kicked out of the house. And we were being kicked out of the house because no one could afford it. We were living with my uncle, my aunt, my grandma, my grandpa, mom and dad, me, and Zach. Mom and dad weren't putting much money into it. They were using their savings to put money into the house. I was using what we could for it, and I was putting groceries in also. So basically we didn't have a lot of money to eat food after a while. I can get gas because Zach worked far away from where we lived. my Uncle Mark and my Aunt Lynn, which I shouldn't be mentioning their names. I did, I'm sorry. They were paying rent, and so was my grandma and grandpa. But our house is expensive since we lived in Florida next to a golf course. So the expenses are really high. So we couldn't do it anymore. So my parents started moving up to Georgia, where I'm currently at, with my sister and my brother-in-law. And that was okay for a time period, but my aunt kind of has an attitude problem, and her and Zach just didn't collide very nicely. And I have mental disorders, or if I tick, and I can't control it, so I get yelled at for not being able to control it when it's completely not my fault, but people don't quite understand the mental disorders as much as I do, so I understand their point of view in that too. So we just had a lot of fights going around the house when my parents were gone, and when my parents came back, everyone was desperate to get their attention because everything else was going chaotic, and a lot of things were just going on, and eventually we all moved up here to Georgia. So we're currently living in Georgia. I just moved up here in January. It took us forever to get a transfer up here. We first started it a week before we moved, and the reason why we did that is because we didn't know when we were moving. We didn't know when we were supposed to leave when we got kicked out. So we didn't know when that was going to be happening. But we ended up just leaving anyways because we just didn't want to be in the stress anymore, because it was just too much for us. And I wanted to get back on a regular schedule with my videos and everything, because it just felt like that was the only releasement I have, and I still feel like it's the only releasement that I have. So after we moved up here to Georgia, I didn't realize how small the house was that we were moving into. We're living with my sister right now, and the house is very small, and I'm sleeping in my little niece's room, and her room is really small, probably an average size for a bedroom up here. I don't really know, I haven't seen many houses up here, but it's maybe a quarter of the size that my old bedroom was. So I have no room for a camera. I don't even have room for a laptop. That's saying something. I don't have room for a laptop in my bedroom. So every single day I've been coming to this auction house, which is my parents', and I've been working here. I work here now. But I finally got my camera out, and I've been finally saying I need to start doing this again, because the reason why I have it is because I've been working almost non-stop here, and finally I'm like, yeah, I'll find time, because this isn't fair to me or for my subscribers. So I finally have time now to film, but that wasn't it for 2016. 2016 still wanted to bite our butts into February, because of all of our financial issues, we didn't have a Christmas. We didn't buy anything for anyone. We didn't have money for ourselves. Me and Zach were living off of ramen, and on Christmas Eve, my grandpa went into shock. His body went into shock. We learned that he had pneumonia. And he stayed in the hospital for an entire month, getting better, getting worse, getting better, getting worse. And eventually he did pass away in February. So we lost our grandpa recently. I'm not going to cry about it. I'm a very strong person when it comes to deaths, which is very odd, because I'm not a very strong person for a lot of other things. But we did lose him. And it kind of shook the entire family, shook us all, because we didn't know how to handle it. And around that same time, a week before Christmas Eve, Zach had lost his favorite pet, so he was going through a lot of things. So 2016 was just a big bummer for my entire family. For everyone that I knew, they all went through something. And we're finally here in 2017, and I'm finally in March. I'm finally getting videos up. I'm sorry again that it took forever. I'm not saying that any of this is excuses. As you saw, I was still putting videos up in 2016. It was difficult to smile and do them, so a lot of times I wasn't able to, because it was just hard to be happy and smile about my life. So now that I'm here, and though we are going to be moving into a house soon, probably next month, I believe. We don't quite know. I might be able to move a scenery change, but if not, this might be the background for a while, and if it is, please forgive me. I know it's not that pretty, but it's the best I can do with right now, and I'm very grateful for what we have right now because of all that's been happening. So, finally finally get to tell you guys what's been happening. Thank you guys for watching, and sorry if I was stuttering and going back and forth. I don't really put scripts for a reason because I want to be personal. I want to be personal with you guys. And writing a script, I don't feel is as personal as just letting it all out to you guys. So I really hope you guys enjoyed. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I will be putting more videos up. I do have another and new YouTube channel. It's based off of the dark and mysterious. I've always been really big in the paranormal, supernatural, monsters, horror, criminals, and all that. I've been really big into all of that my entire life. I literally grew up watching horror movies. My mom wanted us to, my sister and I, to grow up watching that stuff. And it was just like stuff was because you need to get used to the looking at that stuff. And like, we're gonna see dead bodies around? What is that what you're trying to tell us? Anyways, I got used to growing up with that type of stuff. So I do have a YouTube channel for the dark and the mysterious. It's called Between Monsters and Men. It will be linked in the bio below. Hopefully I'll put that there. I'll probably forget. So hopefully I'll do that. If not, in the end cap, I'll be putting one of the videos for it there. So I hope that you guys are okay with what's been going on, and I hope that you guys at least had a better year than I did. If not, then I'm truly sorry. No one deserves to go through what they went through in 2016. I love you guys a lot. Bye!